I read somewhere this morning that what you are not consciously changing, you're actively choosing. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. It really resonated. I think bad things can happen in your life. You know, you can go through tough times, really, really horrendous experiences, and oftentimes feel that because they happened to you, that you have no responsibility to change how they impact on your life. And yet, when you don't choose to process them, when you don't choose to release yourself from the negative and painful experience that you encountered at one stage, it rules your life, and you allow it to rule your life. And at that stage, it is your responsibility. And it's so important to, first of all, create an awareness of the way in which your past is holding you back, the way in which it's impacting on your relationships, on your sense of self worth, on your overall well being. However, it's also then making the decision to change. And we tend to fear, first of all, the unknown, but we also fear making decisions. I think it's kind of tied into this fear of failure, but it's also a fear of the unknown, a fear of uncertainty. We'd nearly prefer to keep ourselves miserable and be sure about it and know what it actually entails, as opposed to taking a step into potential joy, yet not being sure what that actually feels like. And you'll often see people who are brought up in very chaotic circumstances who actually prefer to keep themselves in the chaos. Even though it makes them unhappy, it feels like home. It feels like they're normal. So it's about making the conscious decision to change, and it can take a while to get there. It can take a lot of work, a lot of kind of inner processing, getting to know oneself before you can decide enough is enough. I want to live a better life. I don't want to be held by the shackles of my past. However, when you've been working on your self-acceptance and self-awareness, no matter what decision you make, even if it may not necessarily may not necessarily be the optimum decision, you'll be able to deal with the consequences, and you'll be able to turn them around to your favor, because you'll have no fear of anything externally hurting you or coming against you. I think sometimes we like to believe that if we don't make a decision, we keep ourselves safe. However, all we do is keep ourselves in a place of extreme ambiguity, and we miss out on so much potential. We miss out on potential for our own personal growth, if nothing else, And as I said, there is no wrong decision. There's only different outcomes. And if you accept yourself totally, if you are open to failures, knowing that they're key to your development, they're key to your growth as a person, that there's an opportunity for learning in every scenario that you come across, then you have nothing to fear. And all you do with every decision you make is build more and more confidence in your own ability. That being said, I'm not saying make decisions willy-nilly. I mean, apply a little bit of logic, But once you start weighing up the pros and cons, once you take a very logical perspective to the way in which you make decisions, and once you start trusting your gut, it's one part of ourselves that we have lost all connection with. We look to whatever's trending, we look to whatever's on social media, we look to whatever's popular to guide us in the direction we think we need to go, without listening to our own needs, our own desires, our own thoughts. So it's really important that you start tuning into that intuition, because it'll bring you to where you need to be more often than not.